This video is going to hit the high points concerning the problem list. Remember, if you're not sure how I got here, then start over from the beginning and look at some of my other videos, like A Day in the Life and some of those that are a little bit lengthier and give you some more information. Or go to the web-based training modules. So I'm here in the problem list. The first and foremost thing everybody has to understand about the problem list is that the problem list belongs to the patient. So it's the same problem list, whether I'm a hospitalist, whether I'm a surgeon, a cardiologist, a nephrologist, it belongs to the patient. So when we're building the problem list, we're going to be looking at the same problems, so we can't just indiscriminately add or remove problems without impacting other physicians, nurse practitioners, PAs, all those who are using the system with us. So the problem list, these problems will actually flow into your assessment and plan that flow into your note. The assessment and plan belong to you, and you can then take the problems out there without affecting the other doctors, NPs, PAs. So here we are on the problem list. There's two basic types of problems, and there's a third minor one. First is a diagnosis, and you'll see a diagnosis is the problem that you're actively managing in the hospital. It flows to your assessment and plan. So in this case, the patient has AFib. They've got a number 1 that indicates it's a diagnosis. The This Visit button is highlighted light blue, whereas the chronic button is white because it's not active. It's not a chronic problem. If I wanted to make it both a diagnosis that I'm actively managing and a chronic problem for my past medical history, I can click chronic here and it literally becomes both. If I were to add a new problem, let's say you're a surgeon, you're stepping into a case for a hospitalist, the problem list does not reflect any of the problems that you're being asked to treat. Let's say the patient has acute diverticulitis. And you can see when I add the problem, it will add as a this visit or diagnosis. So I can say acute diverticulitis, it adds, it becomes a numbered problem because it's a diagnosis. But if I wanted to add a chronic problem, to go to the past medical history, let's say the patient has type 2 diabetes. That problem will add down here, and you'll notice there is not a number, and it's highlighted blue. If I wanted to convert a problem that was a diagnosis into only a chronic problem, as you can see, benign hypertension, I can click. When I hover over this visit, it puts a line through it to tell me what will happen if I click it. As soon as I click it one time, it immediately moves places and moves down into the past medical history. So anytime you click once and pause and look, because things happen very quickly in the workflow, and if you start clicking indiscriminately, you could take a lot of things out of it by accident because you didn't wait long enough to see what happened. And when you convert a problem, let's say this ST elevation MI, if I wanted to convert that to a chronic problem, let's say it was more of a, well, it really is not a chronic problem. But if I wanted it out of the, let's go with the AFib. Let's say that was more of a chronic problem and not the real reason the patient came in. The patient came in for a STEMI. Then I can hover over this visit, and AFib suddenly moves down with the other chronic problems for your past medical history. So you see what I'm saying. I just want you to be aware that these problems will move around suddenly when you click on them. So just be aware and pause a moment and make sure you're following where things are going. So here's the final rub. These problems, these diagnoses, they'll flow down to my assessment and plan. And if you look at my navigation bar over here, I'll click on assessment and plan, and that's just, and you'll see them right here. There's the two problems. I'll click here. I can pick up my dictaphone, my Philips speech mic, or my iPhone that has Dragon, and I can dictate the plan into that assessment and plan.